It's time to mind your business with me, Jamillah Lodge. Tune in to find out how to mind your business with BEDC, special guest entrepreneurs, industry experts, and more. Brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda business starts here. Well, welcome to Mind Your Business. I am your host, Jamillah, and you are Gavin Carter, and you are founder, CEO of Gavin's Butter. Mm-hmm. So today we're going to talk a little bit about your journey, what made you start this, where you are now, all that good stuff. But before we do that, just why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Well, my name is Gavin Carter, as you mentioned. I'm the CEO of Gavin's Butter. I've always had a love for the kitchen, for cooking, for things like that. It really, those are things that relax me. I enjoy the creativity behind it. So I think that's one of the things that propelled me into this business. Didn't expect it to be a business right off the bat, but that's what happened, and that's where we are.
Okay. So Gavin's Butter, like you said, you enjoy cooking and being in the kitchen. Talk to me about what it was before it became Gavin's Butter. Like,
again, this was just a passion for me. So my I don't have a history or a background in culinary, save for my mother.
Yes.
Right? And it ain't nobody's cooking like mama's cooking.
That's right.
So she was very instrumental because I was always in the kitchen with her. She would bake and she would make the best fried chicken, and she just had a good knack for being able to season, right? And I think that's where I got it from. And so for me, being in the kitchen, having what we could get off of the shelf at any grocery store, I just thought, well, how can you improve on that?
Right.
And that's where I think the idea came from. So, for instance, if I was making a steak and I wanted garlic butter, but I was like, what's on the shelf is not sufficient for me.
Right.
I said, you know what? Let me try my hand at seeing what I could do to improve on this garlic butter.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what I did. And when it took me a few tries, but when I finally got to where I thought, like, man, this was really good, I said, let me keep doing that. So I would do that with chicken, steak, salmon, all of those type of things, rice. It didn't matter. I just wanted to see what we could do to improve on what we were already doing, and it turned into Gavin's Butter.
I know. One of the things that you said, which I think is important, is seasoning, right? Because people would think it's just butter. Like, you're not churning the butter. We don't have enough cows for you to do that. So you're taking existing products and then creating something new that, like, tantalizes the taste buds and everything.
Right.
And I think it's interesting because not everybody has the skill to season, like you said, like bringing out those flavors that work together to make something delicious.
I'm, and again, I'm not a person, Jamillah, that I don't toot my own horn and all that. I don't do that. But I'm telling you, even for myself, man, I'm still surprising myself.
Yeah.
There are things normal things, an egg.
Right.
Just a fried egg that I'm like putting to the test. Don't put nothing else on it.
Yeah.
I just want to fry the egg and put Gavin's Butter on it and see what it tastes like.
Right.
And I am it's always a surprise. It's always a surprise.
A good surprise.
A good surprise. Surprise.
Talk to me about the product, right? So there's Gavin's Butter. We started with the garlic butter. And then how did you grow? Like, how did you develop these different flavor profiles?
So I'm a avid fan of garlic.
Right.
So garlic is in every one of our flavors, right? So the first flavor that I made was our herb medley. That's our flagship, right? Herb medley, and people, they've just fallen in love with it. But once we did that, I was like, well, butter is like a like a blank slate,
Yeah.
like a blank canvas. You can add anything to it. And that's why I said, well, let's try it. So we went from our herb medley. I said, well, let's try thyme and rosemary. And then let's try, parsley and shallots. And we started to do these flavors, and every last one of them was hitting.
Okay.
They was hitting. And so I think we're up to, I want to say 23
Wow.
or 24 flavors.
Really?
And there could be more on the horizon. Because, and that's the thing, again, I enjoy the creativity part of this. It's not just the end result. It's like what's on the plate. I enjoy, well, what if we added a little bit more of this? What if we added so that process there really gets me going.
So is it that now you're at a point where you can say, get rid of all them seasonings in your kitchen. All you need is Gavin's butter.
Jamillah, let me tell you something. and that's what I said about the egg.
Yeah.
Because to me, I think an egg is the same thing. It's a blank canvas. If you can season an egg, a sunny side up egg, with nothing else but Gavin's butter, then that thing is doing something. That is doing something.
Okay.
And that's what we have a wide range of flavors, which have reached a wide demographic. So we keep getting positive feedback from, sometimes we think like, man, I don't know if that flavor's hitting. Then you see somebody on the street and say, man, I love that one. And I'm like, man, all right, you know what I'm saying? So we keep getting feedback like that. We keep getting the encouragement like that. And that's what, again, drives or fuels the creativity when it comes to, us creating. And I just love it.
So let's talk a little bit about like your ingredients and how you source. So you said the garlic is in everything, which makes sense. But like your herbs and all of that, do you grow them locally? Like how are you finding the other ingredients to put into the butter?
So that's anything herby, like so the parsley, the thyme, the rosemary, the tarragon, the marjoram, or I grow all of those things myself. So that's passion number 2.
You're right.
I love being in the garden. I love seeing things, go from a seed to this fruitful bush. And then you're able to take that and from the farm and kind of put it on the table, and it just makes that organic process makes a big difference in the end product.
The taste and the flavor.
Oh my goodness, it is. So sometimes I walk through like the garden and I just like run my hands through it, and you can just smell the aroma.
Yeah.
And I get to thinking, I'm like, this would go good, that would go good, this would let's combine and make. And I'm just like, this was a business made for me.
Right.
Because everything about it's just
something that you're passionate about.
I just love it. And again, those were things that my mom taught me.
Yeah.
Taking stuff and putting it in the ground and growing it and tilling the earth. You can't beat it.
You can't beat it. So, of course, we met when you joined our Enterprise Bermuda Incubator Program, which was last year. You completed that. And I know at the very beginning, you had kind of just started. You had a logo that you were getting ready to redevelop and all of that. So can you talk to me a little bit about your experience being in the incubator and maybe something that you learned or how it helped you to get to where you are now?
That's interesting that you bring up that, because that is probably one of the foremost things that I remember from being in that program. Again, not that, obviously going into a new business, we didn't know much.
Right.
But you think, with a creative mind that you can come up with something that's going to be catchy, that people are going to look at and they're going to be like, oh, you know what, I want to get that because of what I see.
Right.
And that was a humbling experience because my creativity wasn't what the product needed. And because we had so much support from BDC and the mentors that you guys provided, we were able to come up with a logo and labeling and packaging that really did suit us better. And that was one of the things, my mentor, she said to me, and we were good friends too, because we were in school together. And I remember I was really excited. We had this new sticker, and it was pretty, and it just looked great. We were just slapping it on the same 8-ounce deli container, and I showed it to her. She was just like, she said, I don't want to hurt your feelings, right?
Usually when they say that,
what do you mean?
You prepare yourself.
And I'll tell you why that's so significant is because we had started out just by regular deli containers, and we were writing on it with a Sharpie. And then we kind of graduated from that, and then we went to, we were buying our own labels from Hamilton and kind of printing them ourselves, know. And so when we had this new, like, professionally done label, I thought we had made it.
It's sharp. It's like I've arrived.
And she said one thing to me. She said, Gav, when you put the sticker on top of it, and you stack that on the shelf in the store, then how do people see it?
Right.
And it hit me. I'm like, like we kind of done all this work for nothing if we're going to hide the label.
Right.
So we had to go back to the drawing board. We went back to the drawing board, and I just researched. I was up late nights looking on Amazon and this place and that place, trying to find something. And I came across this one site where I saw these ladies were wrapping chocolate. And I was like, I said, we could do that.
Yeah.
We could mold it up, we can wrap it, and that sticker would go nice with nice, colorful wrapping. And that's what we tried it. And when I showed it to her, she was like, that's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
That's what and again, my mind was completely open now to understanding just what your logo means, what your packaging, how impactful those things are to sales. And again, those were things that we were getting feedback from the community too.
Right.
They were like, we love the packaging.
It is. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
You see it. It's colorful. It looks like candy, right?
Thank you.
It's candy for your food, right? Because it definitely, I would say, sets your product apart from every other butter,
That's
right? Because you typically see your butter in your, I think it's gold or some form of yellow or some packaging like that. But you have all these candy colors, the blues and
Just
the
draws you
pinks,
in.
and it draws you right in. You're like, what is that?
Exactly.
And then I think also because you have so many flavors, it allows you to kind of get an idea that it's going to be something different.
That's right.
So well done on that.
Thanks.
And I think to your credit, sometimes when you're so passionate about something or about a business, it's hard to receive that feedback and actually use it, right? Because you're like, I know what you're talking about. People love my stuff anyway. They don't care. They're going to look for it, right? But to be able to receive that and then do something about it, I think is a good thing. And it's not always that you see entrepreneurs who are ready for that yet. So kudos to you on taking that. You're like, what you talking about, my baby? Wait a minute, hold on a second.
It did hit me for like a split second, but I was like, you know what? No, I gotta listen.
Listen.
Yeah.
So you were one of the winners. You won the People's Choice Prize.
Won the People's Choice.
The people said we want Gavin's
That's
butter.
right.
Yes. So that was a $25,000 investment into your company. Can you talk a little bit about what you used the funds for and how it impacted your business?
Yeah, that was the night was amazing. It really was. To get up on that stage, to be in front of the judges and just put out there what our product was really good. It kind of hurt a little bit when we didn't win on the night.
Right.
But I knew that there was still another chance.
Yeah.
When we got the call from Kelsey, and I just kind of lost it for a minute there. And I was driving at the time. I was, screaming and driving at the same time. But to be able to have that grant, and I mean, we were very small, like small production, small batch, because I was doing everything by hand. So the simple fact that we were able to purchase commercial grade equipment, mixers, blenders, choppers, all this, it just makes the process that much easier, quicker. We were able to, there were some things where we have mini factories set up, and we needed to create some access. We were able to do that. So that makes even just delivery and stuff like that better. You know, so we're certainly grateful for the monies that we won. It was able to, even some, like I was able to do some courses, which really helped me, like as far as leadership, entrepreneurship, things like that. Understanding that you're the one responsible for running this business.
That's right.
I can't say, you know what, it's your fault because, no.
Buck stops with you.
The buck stops with me. And
Yeah.
those were some of the things that I learned. But had it not been for the wave of opportunity, I wouldn't have had that opportunity, that chance.
Yeah. Well, we are so happy that you've allowed us to be part of your journey. So we love to see it. We love to see you winning. Looking forward to seeing what other things you have in place. So my question is around what do you vision for Gavin's Butter in the future? Like, where do you want that product to be? How do you want it? Is it exclusively Bermuda, or what are your plans?
One of the things that we learned too, like in the incubator program, was, and I'll never forget, the term was big stinking dreams. And that I keep my eyes set on that, because I would have never envisioned us being here today. I would have never envisioned somebody investing $25,000 into, back in the beginning, man, we were writing on the container over Sharpie.
Yeah.
So what I do is I keep myself open to ideas. We have researched taking it out of Bermuda. We're still in the process of doing that. We haven't even, fortunately for us, we haven't even scratched the surface even here on the island. There is so much room for expansion here that we're gonna focus on that right now.
Okay.
That's what we're gonna do.
All right.
And I think that's the course of humility in the sense of, I think sometimes what happens to people is that they overreach, and then you overextend, and then you know the demand may be more than you can supply.
Right.
And I don't want to do that.
Right.
I don't want to shortchange the community that we've built around Gavin's Butter here on the island until I know that we can venture elsewhere.
Right.
One of the things that I could, because we keep getting, just the other day, somebody from Atlanta sent me a message, DM me and said, look, I'm having a vegan kind of get together and I want to feature your product. Do you ship? So I need to go through the process of finding out what it's going to cost to do that. One of the things that is still on the top of my list is I want to get some type of fridge or some type of store at the airport.
Right.
Where people can go to the airport and purchase Gavin's Butter and take it
with them on
to their final destination. Because you can do that. We take it abroad for friends all the time. If there was ever a question about whether or not I can take it,
right.
People do it all the time.
Right.
So I think that's one of the closest or the easiest ways right now that we can get it overseas.
Right.
So that's what I'm looking into as well.
Okay. So in terms of like expanding here, talk about where we can get the product and what your goals are for taking over Bermuda.
Well, we are from St. George's to Somerset. I can say without fear of contradiction. We're in Summers, Supermart in St. George's, Shelley Bay, Hamilton Marketplace, Sewers. Sewers was the first grocery store that took us on. Yeah, they believed in us right from the beginning. So we certainly appreciate having them as the jump off point for that. Miles Market we're in, Garden Market, Heron Bay Marketplace, Somerset Marketplace. We have our vegan product. We have vegan product too.
Really?
Right? And something in Somerset, vegans in Somerset, the stuff won't stay on the shelf. It will not. We put it up there. You got to call. We need more.
Okay.
So you know, and again, that's part of our expansion as well too. Right. So just going from the dairy to the vegan, and we saw the potential for that. You know, early on too. It was like, wow, you know, there's vegan butter out there too. We can do the same thing with the vegan butter. So we did that. Where else are we? But we're in about 12 or 13 stores island-wide.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And again, I would not have dreamt this from the beginning. But big stinking dreams, right?
Yeah, big stinking dreams. Yeah. So from the standpoint of, because prior to being an entrepreneur, you had a regular full-time job, right?
Which I still do.
You still do. So talk to me about the difference between the two.
The difference between the two, there's passion in both arenas, right? But I've been a firefighter for, it'll be 29 years.
Wow.
Next month.
Okay.
And even though there are things that, you know, I still really love about my job, like this is something different. This is kind of fresh and it's new, and I know that I haven't dedicated 100% of myself to it. I really would like to know what that feels like. I want to know what that looks like. I want to know what, you know, what further things can we do? How can we expand if I'm putting 100% of my time into it? You know, up until this point, we've basically just concentrated on production. So just getting the product out there.
Right, because you got 13 stores, so you got to make sure they got supply.
That's right. So, but what does it look like when, you know, I can dedicate to marketing, dedicate to the website, dedicate to, you know, all of these things that kind of build a business, because a business is more than just production.
Yes, it is.
You know, more than just putting it on the shelf and signing an invoice and kind of packing up and going home. There are other things that we need to focus on. So I'm really excited to see what comes next as far as that aspect of the business.
When it's like, what does that look like?
So we're working on that now.
Okay.
Yes, fortunately, we are working on that now. The website is being built. We've discussed some ideas about how we can market better. So we'll start to see those things in the near future.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll
start to see. Looking forward to it.
We'll see maybe a few new products coming out in the near future.
So when you say new products outside of butter?
Outside of butter, yeah, that's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Because why not? You have the herbs, you have the seasoning, you can season other
creativity,
stuff.
So
there you go.
I'm looking forward to seeing how it is. And we've kind of did the litmus test on some of them. So we've kind of handed them out and seen what people, you know, what the feedback is. And just like the butter, man, it's good feedback. So
I think that's one great thing I can say about Bermuda, because the community is relatively small. So word of mouth marketing actually works, right? You can actually put something out there and get immediate feedback, which I can imagine is helpful for you because you're the one in the kitchen creating these recipes and all of these things. And so you can take that direct feedback and put it into your product.
That's right. And I think one thing about Bermuda too, man, that Bermuda is made up of, you know, a wide demographic, but Bermudians love food, man.
Yeah, we do.
Don't bring nothing to the table that don't taste good, because they're gonna tell you.
And we're gonna talk about you.
Exactly. So again, because of the small community, because of the you know, our voracious appetite for good food, we kind of can, you know, plot, hey, we're doing the right thing here. If something's not working, like if we see a product keep coming back, hey, let's shelf that for now. You know, so we're getting good feedback because of that, like you said, because of small community, because of the openness of the community. And we've built our own little small community around Gavin's Butter too. So those people keep us informed. If something ain't hitting, they'll let us know.
They'll let you know.
You know what I mean?
And then you can fix it right away.
And that's the thing. And we appreciate that.
Yeah.
We appreciate the feedback.
Yeah. And I think it speaks to the kind of small batch or curated or personal touch I think that your butter has, because it really is I want to say almost like a partnership. It's like I'm creating what you want almost. I can create your flavor, if you will, which I think is pretty cool because you can increase or decrease
That's right.
the number of flavors that you have based on what people are telling you they want. So out of all of your flavors, which would you say is your best selling one?
Oh, our best seller? I would say the flagship, our herb medley.
The herb medley.
Something about that, when you put that on a hot skillet,
Yeah.
it just does something. You just, I don't know, like a Disney movie opens up or something like that. You know what I mean?
You hear that sound?
Yeah, you hear that noise. Yeah, you hear that noise. Bro. It's like culinary potpourri or something like that. Man.
I like that.
It's deep, bro. You know
Well,
what I mean?
I can tell you have a fan in my son. He came home from university, and we use it sparingly, right? Because I'm like, listen, put the regular butter on your toast. We gonna use this when we're cooking the food. Well, he went through them, but I was like, son, he was like, huh? It's good. I'm like, okay, fine. So it definitely, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. I'm like, you need a job because.
But we hear that all the time.
Yeah.
And again, there's the things that it helps to keep us going. It keeps the drive in us. We've had people tell that they're stealing it out of my fridge. They're using too much.
Yeah.
Like you said, they're using too much. I can't. But they keep coming back.
Well, we gotta replace it.
We had a lady tell us the other day. She said there are 3 things on her list, her grocery list every week or whatever. Or she said hummus mayonnaise, Laura seasoned salt, and Gavin's butter. I said when you compare Gavin's butter with Laura seasoned salt and mayonnaise, because I'm a mayo guy.
Yeah.
It's always got to be in my house, right? I said, if that's the way she feels about our product,
You're doing something right.
We're doing something right.
You're doing something right. That's what's up. I love it. So talk to me a little bit about some of the things that you had to overcome or some of the things that you're still trying to figure out fixing. Because, it sounds great and you're doing great, but what are some of the things that you had to overcome to get to Gavin's Butter where it is now?
There's a few things, and some were like kind of more specific to just the product itself. I remember one of my mentors saying too, in the beginning in the incubator program. She said, when you have $100 business, you're gonna have $10 problems. You have a $1,000 business, you're gonna have $100 problems. You have like a $10,000 business, you're gonna have and so on and so on and on. And I remember we had one of our freezers, man. It malfunctioned.
Oh no.
Jamillah, oh my gracious, we had to throw away so much butter, man. And I thought like this was the end of it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, we just spent all that money, and this was raw product too. But we overcame that. We overcame it. And I mean, I guess initially we kind of panicked. It was like, oh man, but after we sat down, we said, wait a minute. This doesn't end the business. We just restock. And maybe we won't buy as much, but we can continue to restock. So we did that. We overcame it. That was some time back. We had, thank goodness for the again the $25 grant, because we were able to get ourselves a better freezer. Right. I think the biggest challenge is time and timing. Right. So because we have so many flavors and limited time, what I find is that we're able to focus on maybe the top 5 because they go faster.
Right.
As opposed to, we're kind of turning over the top 5 flavors. But we need to make time for those other ones as well.
Right.
So that's obviously going to eat up my time. You know what I mean? So making sure that I have a schedule, a plan of what we're doing today, accomplish that. What needs to go out today, accomplish that. That's one of the biggest challenges, I think, is just making sure that we have. And again, I don't want to burn myself out.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know, my health is top of my concern too. So I don't want to put myself in jeopardy.
Right.
You know, because of maybe not getting enough rest or things like that. So I just make sure that I don't get too anxious and I just schedule my time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's good advice. And so my last question for you would be around encouraging others who might be considering entrepreneurship. So like, I feel like yours happened very organically. Like you had this butter, gave some to your friends and families, and they was like, hey, you need to sell this.
Right.
And because you were so passionate about doing it, it wasn't like you were working, right? You're like, this is just something I love to do and others can experience it. What would you say to young people or anyone who may be considering entrepreneurship but has a full-time job? Entrepreneurship is risky. You never know whether they're going to like it or not. What would you say to them?
I would say take the leap. You don't have to cast off everything else. You can find a balance. Like you said, if you have a full-time job, you can find a balance. Don't be too anxious. If that passion is there, it'll still be there. Maybe there are some humps that you may need to overcome, but that passion will keep you going.
Okay.
The other thing is that, and what I'm appreciative of, is you don't have to make the journey on your own. People like yourself, the incubator programs, all of these things help you to plot your course. I remember when I first heard the term bootstrapping, and I'm like, once it was explained to me, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's what I've been doing all this time.
Right,
and I'm like, I was on the right track. So sometimes you might think what I'm doing is not enough, but it absolutely is. If that's keeping your business driving forward, even if it's the smallest step, but as long as it's forward,
yes,
then you're going to be all right. You're going to be all right. And again, it doesn't. I remember I read the back of this. I can't remember what the product was, but it was a package. It had like it was a family-owned business and it had a history on the back. And it was like 35 years ago we started this business. It's got to start somewhere.
Got to start somewhere.
Somebody's garage or somebody's basement or somebody,
Yep.
You can do it. You can do it. And you don't have to make the journey alone. And then again, you have competition like We Have Opportunity, where they give you 25 grand. They'll give you 25 grand. You can't beat that.
Right, exactly.
You can't beat that. So, no, man, I would say, and especially for young people, man. Yeah, I think young people, and not to knock them because, technology is, like everything is technology today. But they have an aptitude for like they're on TikTok and Snapchat and this and that and what. And I'm saying you could take some of that energy right there and focus it on a small idea for business. You don't know what you just stop TikTok 1 hour a day for a week. That's 7 hours. Focus that on a business. I guarantee you do something. I guarantee it.
I love that. Look, thank you so much, Gavin.
Is that our time already?
Already? We can talk for hours about this stuff. But let the people know how to find you. I know you have Instagram and you're on Facebook. You're in all the stores on the island. So from Somerset to St. George's, you can get the butter. But,
and I'll tell you too, and because some people ask like, oh, I went to Marketplace, I couldn't find it. Look for our vegan in the Hamilton Marketplace dairy section. Okay. Every other marketplace, we're in the meat section, right? So you can find us there. In Linder's, in Linder's Warwick, we're in the dairy section. In Linder's Devonshire, we're in the meat section, right? Our brightly colored packaging is in the meat, and those are like the the hubs where most of the product is moving. Right. Yeah. So that's why I wanted to mention that, because a lot of times people say, "Oh, I went and I couldn't." I'm like, "We just restocked. Why wouldn't you be able to find it?" So if you look in the meat section, if you're shopping at this, like Linder's, Devonshire, Shelly Bay Marketplace, Heron Bay Marketplace, look in the meat section.
Okay, because it tastes so good.
That's right.
On meat.
They're trying to get you buy that and buy your piece of meat after that too.
Well done, well done. So you're on Instagram. What's your Instagram?
So Gavin's Butter on Instagram.
Okay.
On TikTok, same thing. You can find us there. And if you want to reach out, just DM us through any one of this, and we'll get back to you.
Awesome stuff.
Yeah. Or Gavin's Butter at gmail.com as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Gavin, for minding your business with us today. And remember, if you don't mind your business,
ain't nobody else gonna do it for you.
Ain't nobody's gonna do it for you. Who will? Who
That's
will
right.
mind it for you? Thanks for tuning in to Mind Your Business with me, your host, Jamillah Lodge. Tune in next week, Thursday at 4 p.m. because if you don't mind your business, who will? Mind Your Business is brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda Business starts here.